Welcome back to another episode of Let's Stay In.
I'm Anna, and this is Mark.
Now, before we get into today's episode, we got to give you that annoying reminder. Make sure you like, subscribe, download, comment. If there's a button, make sure you click it. Somehow, I think that helps us out.
With that being said, let's just jump right in.
Sydney, welcome to the podcast. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
We're doing great. We're excited for this episode.
Very excited.
We're already rolling.
Yeah, we're rolling. We're jumping into this.
Wow. No, I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem at all.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned LA Tech Week, right? And so, hypothetical, somebody comes up to you at LA Tech Week. They're like, who are you? What's your story? Give us like your 30-second elevator pitch.
Mm-hmm. I would say, hi, I'm Sydney. I'm the founder of French Squirrel. We make healthier sweet snacks that are all French inspired. So we do chocolate coated protein bites, stuffed dates, cereal clusters, a date peanut butter. And that's on the brand. But personally, I would say born and raised in LA, huge foodie, passionate about hormone health, and love to try new restaurants, new coffee shops, and I love to dance. I guess that would be my intro.
There we go.
That's exciting. What made you choose French food as your inspiration?
Yes. It's actually a question that I get is, how are your products French inspired? Mm-hmm. And it's because they're all real ingredients. And my late French grandmother, Sarah, the name French Squirrel came from the fact that French people can't pronounce the word squirrel. It's like if you ask them to say squirrel in English, the R, it's like squirrel. Like, yeah. And so as a kid, I would always laugh about that. And that's why I came up with French Squirrel. But the brand is all clean ingredients, no emulsifiers, no preservatives, just real food. And that's how my late French grandmother used to cook. She would come over every Wednesday, and we would call it salmon night because every Wednesday was salmon night at my parents' house. And it would just be salmon broiled plain. No salt, no pepper. It sounds scary. No salt, no pepper, no chili powder, no paprika, no soy sauce. Like literally just salmon broiled in the oven, steamed green beans, and a baked potato.
Did you like salmon night?
So I did. And I actually that is how we should be eating.
Clean.
Yeah, and I hate the word clean, but I can't find another word. In the last few months, I've just always go back to that word. But back to the basics.
Yes.
And French people just eat real food, and that's why they all live much longer over there and look much better and feel much better over there versus where we are here in the U.S.
I just got back from France last Monday.
Okay.
And I am considered celiac. And I cannot have gluten. Like if I have gluten, 7 months pregnant, I'm not going to list my side effects. Yeah. But when I went over to France, I was able to have, oh my God, a chocolate croissant. My eyes welled up. Yeah. No response.
Yep.
Zero response to it. Yeah, that's like the danger zone for me. So I thought that was really interesting. What they're using is so much cleaner.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys have probably discussed this too, because that is the hot topic right now. It's just like why people who have gluten allergies, how can they tolerate it in Europe and not here? And it's just because of how it's processed. Like it's just and I find that with everything. Mm-hmm. Like, the Trader Joe's lentil chips, for instance. I'm just going to give an example. Like the lentil chips are so far away from a lentil that it's like the same thing as like when we are processing wheat here, we're just getting further and further and further away from the source. So they're like, oh, stevia, natural. There's a 42-step process to get from the stevia plant, the natural, in quotes, plant, to what's in your food. So like when you're eating things with stevia, typically, not all of them, there are different sources, it's like, it's not the stevia that's the problem, or the oats, or the wheat, or the lentils. It's literally our manufacturing that has taken us so far away from like the source.
Well, that's something that we've talked about on the podcast before, how like we don't address a lot of the root causes of things in the United States, right? Like instead we'll be like, okay, hey, you have this condition, we'll give you this medication for it, and like we're not even going to look in slightly to what the actual root cause of the issue is. And so for yourself, I guess, like what made you begin this kind of like journey into all of this? Like what, and I guess, can you answer the question of, I feel like when like hormones are a huge topic right now, everybody's talking about it. What is what do hormone issues typically entail? I guess for somebody who's like, I'm not really even sure what that encompasses.
Right. No, this is a great question, a very complex question. And what you said about the root cause, I'll touch on that right after, because that's been a very relevant topic to me in the last like 3 months or so. But number one, Anna, you got a hormone panel done today.
Yeah, literally this morning.
Yes.
And full food sensitivity, all of that sort of
Incredible.
stuff. Yeah.
Was this at your like functional doctor or regular doctor?
No, so I actually went to this place called Regenix, and it's in the Valley. And I was really excited. It was some place that my friend was raving about, and they did a full panel, 6 vials, and I get my results on Monday, and then we decide the course of action from there. So I'm really excited because I've been off of birth control for 2 years. I've noticed a lot of fluctuations, issues with anxiety, depression, acne, edema, bloating, all of a sudden having a ton of food allergies. And all of those things don't just pop up. You don't all of a sudden just get Hashimoto's out of nowhere if something isn't going on. So I want to get to the root cause of it instead of going to, I used to go to like UCLA and Scripps and all of those sort of things, which are great for certain things, but I wasn't getting to the root of it. They just wanted to give me a medication.
Yep. Okay. So there's so much to.
Oh, I know. We have so much to talk about.
to relate here. So first, the question about hormones being a hot topic and like how you have issues. I mean, it's all. Are these symptoms related to hormones? Most likely. Like our whole like endocrine system is what's ruling everything in our bodies. And when one thing is off, the rest is off, which is, again, more of like the Eastern medicine principle of like our body being an interconnected web versus how Western medicine views everything as in sections. Like, this is wrong, we're going to treat this. This is wrong, we're going to treat that. But actually, what I've learned in Eastern medicine is that, for example, like your liver meridian in Chinese medicine is stress. And if you have pain in one area of your body, it's connected to another area of your body. Like everything's a web. It's interconnected. And I'm not a Chinese medicine guru. I'm just quoting what my Chinese medicine doctor has always told me. But I think it's undiagnosed issues that are often a mystery are usually related to hormones. And that's what I'm going to say. So you're saying, how do you know if you have hormone issues? I feel like when there are these issues that are a mystery, it's usually hormone related.
That's like what my gut has been saying, and I love hearing that from a professional.
Yes. And I say the word mystery because that's what happened to me the last few months. And that's why it's all related. So, and first, I also want to say, I'm not, as you said, Anna, I'm not bashing on Western medicine. There's a place for it, as you said. Like, there's totally a place for it. I don't sometimes like listening to people saying there's no place for it. It's horrible. Like, there is a reason we have Western medicine. We wouldn't be living the years that we're living now, as we were just talking about how you were saying old people are living longer. That wouldn't happen if we didn't have Western medicine. So that I want to acknowledge, because I'll hear people come on podcasts and say, screw Western medicine. And it's like, it's nuanced. It's not black and white. Like, there's so much gray there, but I think that we're finding the gray right now. Like, Western medicine practitioners are now adopting a lot of Eastern medicine principles, and they're referring each other to one another. Totally. Like, it's actually becoming an ecosystem where to go back, this is like 4 or 5 years ago, I was in college. I fell into the comparison trap, being a woman, being in college, body dysmorphia, feeling like I had to be a certain size to fit in. And I was like watching what other girls were eating in this sorority house of like 42 girls. Okay. And I would observe, well, why is that girl eating half a banana? Why is she not taking the full banana? Or like, why did she put that much oatmeal and not of that? Like, it's something that subconsciously I didn't even realize I was doing. And it led down a bad path. And it was in the effort of health, because I had an appointment with my doctor. And I remember he said something about me being a couple pounds overweight or something. And I thought I was doing something good for my health. Like, oh, I'm going to start eating healthy. And it started with good intention. It went down the wrong path, ended up losing too much weight. I was over exercising, under eating. And I did not have my period for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Horrible.
And I know it gets into the whole, I know, sorry if it's TMI or the whole thing. Okay.
Mark is the last person.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't
okay.
You wouldn't want to know the things I say to him.
Yeah.
And I like how this is like very casual too.
Yes,
and
no
it's,
filter.
and it's fun. So yeah, I appreciate it. It makes me feel comfortable. So 3 years is not normal. Okay. Like the beautiful thing about women is that we have that marker of our health. And when you don't have that, it's like a car. My dad said this to me many years ago because he knows all about my health issues in this realm. If the car is flashing to take it into service and you don't take it into service, you're ignoring the issue. So many women are walking around today with no period and they're just like, whatever. That's not normal
to them.
Yeah.
Like, this is great.
Well, right. Because on one hand, it's like, oh, I don't have to deal with that. But that is so not normal. And men actually don't have that, obviously. So it's harder for men to identify hormone issues than it is for women, in my opinion, because women have that marker. And by the grace of God, we have that. Mm-hmm. And when we don't have a period, that's an immediate signal that something is wrong with our hormones. So I knew that was off. And there are other signs for men as well, like fatigue, brain fog, blood sugar issues, other things. But in general, women have an easier time because it's innate. And I go to the doctor, to the gynecologist, and endocrine doctor, and all they wanted to do was put me on birth control.
Always.
Of course.
Yeah, always.
And I'm sure you guys have interviewed people like on this, and I'm sure you've talked about birth control as well. But I looked over, I remember my mom was there with me, and she goes, why would you not listen to the doctor? My mom, nothing wrong with her, love her. That's just the generation. It was like, why would you not listen to the doctor?
Yeah, they know best.
Yeah. And I go, Mom, why would I take a pill if I should innately be born with this? Like, I should have this. Why do I need to take a prescription to get it? It makes no sense to me. So that was like, I think the first time where it was like, first the light bulb went off that I need to change something. So I get a lot of messages from girls saying, how did you heal your relationship with food? How did you heal? How did you get your period back? And it's like, unless you decide, okay, enough, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like that was the wake up call for me. I said, I want to have kids one day. I want to have bone density. And when you don't have your period for many years, you can like lose your bone density as well. I want to be strong. I want to be healthy. And I realized that my health was more important than what I looked like. So I put my hands up, I remember in that moment, and I was like, I don't care if I have to gain X amount of pounds. I will do it to get my period back. Like, that's how important it is to me. Mm-hmm. And so I embarked on this whole journey, acupuncture, Chinese herbs, all the things. And everybody thought this was beginning of 2020. Still now, Eastern medicine is more accepted. But like even 4 years ago, it wasn't talked about a lot on podcasts or on social media. It was woo-woo. And everybody thought like this girl is a nutso. My parents were like, what are you doing?
Wasting money.
And I mean, they expensed that for me. Thank God. Love you, Mom and Dad. But they supported me even though they didn't agree, which I appreciate. Like
parents.
And people thought I was insane. After every meal, I would like take these herbs, and I stopped exercising for like 3 months. And finally I got it back. After doing everything that they said, I stopped being vegan, started adding in meat for iron and all those things. Anyway, this is so long, this story.
No, but this is good.
No, this is informative.
Okay.
A lot of people will relate to this.
Okay. Good. But yeah, that was the 4 years ago health journey. And finally came to a place of balance. And then that was 4 years ago. And I'm going to just quickly fast forward. And I, was all into the intuitive eating. I'm have a great relationship with food. I was eating out at restaurants all the time and like, social settings. And I honestly think that I overdid it. Okay. And it's hard for me to admit that because it's a passion of mine, like the, restaurant outings and all those things. But this was back in January of this year. So now fast forward 4 years, January 2024. Mm-hmm. I start having like this eye issue, like eye twitching, eye dryness. And then naturally I go to the optometrist. Optometrist says, nothing wrong with your eye. I checked. I was like, okay, great. He goes, come back to me in a few weeks if you still have the issue. He gave me these drops. I was like, okay, great. Go home. And this is like a very recent story, so it's very fresh, like this whole journey. So that's why when you reached out, Mark, I was like, I'm absolutely going to talk about this.
There we go.
Because I blew up on TikTok from this story, okay? And then I go back because the issue still persisted. And he goes, you sure it's not stress, the eye twitching? And I was like, no. Like, I know that I'm stressed. I run a business. I get it. But intuitively, I knew, like, something is weird. Like, I was staring at the computer, and it felt like I couldn't stare for that long or concentrate on the computer without having this pressure. So then he goes, okay, I don't know what it is. Let's send you to the ENT. I go to the ENT, okay?
The ear, nose, and throat doctor?
Yes, because of sinus pressure.
Okay.
Then they go, we don't know why you have sinus pressure. Let's do an MRI, okay? So I go 9 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm in the MRI machine, like claustrophobic. That is horrible.
Yeah.
What a horrible feeling that is. They need to do something better.
Yeah. Not fun.
I remember, like, I think I was crying in the machine because I was so, like, uncomfortable. Anyway, and they were like, what music do you want? And I was like, I don't know. Can you play French music or something? And it was, like, the oldest French music ever. Like, it was, like
you're in a scary movie.
Yes, like, classical opera. I thought it was going to be, like, some cool, like, French hip-hop or something. Or, like, a cafe.
Emma Peters, like,
it was so not.
French music.
No. It was, like, something from the I don't know what.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get the MRI. They come back and they tell me you have a lot of sinus inflammation. Maybe you have allergies. And I go, okay, sure. Then they send me to the allergist. They prick my back with all the different foods, with all the different, things. They tell me, oh, it looks like you're allergic to pollen and dust.
Oh, okay. The very rare.
Yeah.
pollen and dust allergy.
Okay. And the answer just didn't sit right with me. I was like, there is no way. I've been getting my apartment cleaned way more than usual, too. I get that outside there are seasonal allergies, but I'm 25. I've never had seasonal allergies. Why all of a sudden now would I have allergies? They said, oh, well, allergies can develop at your age. I'm like, okay. Not saying that's wrong. Maybe that's true. Then they gave me this serum to microdose my own allergy. So I was now taking, this is like a Western medicine doctor. Like, I'm not even on to Eastern medicine. This is like just real, real shit. Can I say that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say anything.
And I was taking the drops. It all went downhill from there. Okay. Took the drops, and all of a sudden I'm like itching like a dog. Okay. With fleas behind my neck. I was getting like hot flashes. I would go work out, and before or after working out, my body was just hot all the time. Like I was like running hot. Okay. Like AC, everything's, I'm like, what? Like, I'm not going through menopause.
Your body was under attack.
Yes. So I go get a blood panel, and it says from the dermatologist that I'm high histamine. So it's like the body's allergy response. It was under attack. Like my body was protecting me from something. I don't know. Long story short, I'll try to cut it here. I go from the allergist. So first optometrist, ENT. Then they send me to the allergist. Allergist sends me to the endocrinologist, dermatologist. I break out in the worst rash that I've ever had in my life. And all the doctors can keep telling me is, here's a pill. They were giving me pills to calm the rash down. here's some cream, topical cream to put on your rashes. I go, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate you guys for helping. But why is the rash happening? Like, why am I having an allergic reaction? And I think that's like, that goes back to your question. It's like not the root cause. It's let me treat what's going on. Here's a cream. And before, and this is why I preface with like, I'm not anti-Western medicine, because I have a whole new perspective and I have a lot of like grace and empathy for them. They weren't taught this way.
No.
Like, we can't fault them because they were never taught to address the root cause. They were addressed to see the issue. How do I treat it? Absolutely. So that's why I don't like the like negative sentiment around Western medicine, because it's not their fault. It's not doctors' fault.
They think they're doing the right thing, and they're not like scheming against the world to keep them stuck in an unhealthy state.
No, I'm sure the system maybe is, but not them.
The system benefits from a lack of communication. There's more money in a lack of communication,
but
that's
not them.
Compartmentalized,
exactly, but not like the human beings, like not the doctors. Like that, she like poor thing thought she was helping me. She's not helping me. And so then again, my brain went off the same brain from 4 years ago when the doctor said go on birth control, and I said why would I do that? It was the same brain, same mindset, thinking, why would I need a cream and pills for this rash? Why am I having a rash all over my body? Why am I itching? You know, I got rid of perfume. I stopped wearing makeup. I stopped the laundry detergent, literally everything. And then eventually I get a bunch of blood panels done, and I find out that I have a gut imbalance, okay, from too much sugar, which is called Candida Overgrowth.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have never had traditional symptoms related to Candida. You look up Candida, it says that you should have UTIs and da-da-da. That never happened to me. Never. And it was only just on my skin. And inflammation, hot, red, all the things. Went to the naturopath. She put me on this diet, which I hate to say the word diet, but like cleanse, protocol, regimen. In 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, every single symptom that I just listed, starting off with the eye, twitching, pressure, sinus, allergies, itching, all gone.
What did the regimen entail?
No sugar.
Okay.
I literally went on a 30-day no sugar protocol. I, as someone who eats out, and like I'm a huge foodie, I love eating everything. Like I'm still a foodie. I didn't eat out for 30 days.
Wow.
In my Culver City apartment, I was cooking every single meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. I was honestly, I was lonely for those 30 days.
Doing well.
I wasn't doing well. Like, it was pretty dark because I mean, I'm fine. It's good. It could have been worse, but like it was dark being at home, like frustrated, not seeing progress, but then eventually seeing it. And in 14 days, everything cleared up. I didn't even have to finish the 30 days.
Wow.
It's interesting to me because, you know, the way that I think about it is like, I don't expect a doctor to care more about my body than I should.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we are a patient to that doctor, and that doctor is seeing X amount of patients that day. They don't have the time to look into every single thing that I'm doing and exactly what's causing every single thing. So what they do is they go, okay, you have these symptoms. This is traditionally what will solve those symptoms. And for probably 90% of people, it probably solves most of those, right? The 10%, it doesn't. And so, or whatever that would be, right? I'm just making up that stat. And so the way that I look at it is like, you took control of your health, right? By going, okay, I have these symptoms, and so therefore I'm going to look into as many different things that I can until I find the root cause of it, and then I'm going to solve the issue, right?
Yes.
And I think a lot of people, I guess like my thoughts on the whole like Western medicine, Eastern medicine sort of thing is I'm like, whether you're going to an Eastern medicine doctor or a Western medicine doctor, either way, you need to care about your health more than the doctors themselves, right? Mm-hmm. Because it is your health. It's impacting you. And so you should know what you are putting into your body. You should know, you should be taking care of yourself. You should be looking into taking the absolute best care of yourself. And if you're not doing that, why should you expect the doctor to do that for you, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so I think like that's kind of what I take away from your journey is that you had a problem that was frustrating you and you didn't stop until you found a solution, right? And I think so many people, they just get so frustrated when the first thing doesn't work. But it's like, you know, how many times do we all know a friend who, like, certain people can consume certain food and it doesn't bother them at all. Somebody else, they try it, and next thing you know, they have all sort of gastrointestinal problems and things like that, right? So we're not all the same. And so therefore, again, you should look into your body to determine what can you do, what can you not, what is right for you is not going to be right for everybody else, right?
Advocacy is very, very important. I know that, like, I'm sure you've dealt with this too. As a female, young female, going to the doctor, I have a lot of symptoms of being pre-diabetic. Always have swollen ankles, hair falling out, hypoglycemia, like all of the things. And a doctor looks at me and they think, okay, she works out every single day. She eats very healthy. You're not fat per se. You're not pre-diabetic. Like, I don't need to be testing this with you. And I'll say, no, but you don't understand. I'm 20 pounds heavier than I used to be. And then they go, do you have a history of eating disorders? So then all of my appointments go from me being concerned about my swelling into, oh, what's your relationship with food? You must have like a mental issue. Do you need medication for that? And I feel like all doctors either try to go birth control or antidepressant. Those are the two routes that are like the Band-Aid for whatever problems a woman might possibly have, or a cream. Yeah. Did the same thing.
And it goes back to the word mystery again.
Yeah.
So the question about you know, when do I know if I have a hormone issue? It's usually tied to like that mystery, that weird thing. And why it's getting a lot of attention right now is because people give up. As you just said, they give up when they don't have an answer, or
run out of money.
Or that too.
That's a big one, is the money.
And I started off, my viral TikTok started off with, I spent thousands of dollars to find out that I had Candida Overgrowth.
Yeah.
And I was sharing it on TikTok so that other people don't have to spend thousands. Like, I'm lucky. No, serious. Like, I shared my journey. People are commenting, I fear you've saved my life. I have the same eye issues. I have the same sinus pressure, itching, allergies, and I want to share it. Spent thousands of dollars since January at all these appointments, MRIs, so expensive to figure this out. And the moral of the story is that you have to be your own advocate, because the doctors kept telling me, everything's fine. They thought I'm crazy again.
You look fine. So that's all that matters to them.
Yeah. You look fine. But I'm like, no, I don't, you don't get it. Like, I don't feel fine.
Yeah.
And one thing that when I went to one of the doctors after I had that full body rash everywhere, you know what she says to me? She goes, I want to run a pregnancy test.
I'm so sick of this shit.
God. And I said,
I'm so sick of it.
I left I said I was crying twice in this podcast. I don't cry, okay? I rarely cry. And I cried after that appointment because that made me feel so not seen and gaslit. I said, I'm not pregnant. And she goes, how do you know? I go, I just know. So I have a rash and you're telling me that I want to run a pregnancy test? How is that an appropriate response?
It's not.
Yeah.
I went to the doctor 2 months ago for a rash that was covering my entire upper body. I'd never seen anything like it. And the doctor was like, oh, God, it could be fleas. Could be fleas. And I was like, okay, well, I was dog sitting, so maybe. And I was like, but this dog, I don't think so. And she's like, maybe not even a flea. It could be a different bug, a bug I've never seen before, like a bug I've never heard of. And I was like, okay, so where do we go from here? And she was like, we could do like a steroid, we could do a topical cream. And I was like, okay, so can I just take a Benadryl then if it's like an allergy, like an allergic reaction?
Yeah.
It turns out I was having literal hives from stress, and she couldn't even recognize the difference between a mystery bug and hives. It was ridiculous. And it's like, I understand that feeling of getting to your car and crying, because you start to feel like you're like, am I a hypochondriac? Like, I know I'm relatively sane. Like, I don't like just going to the doctor. It's fun getting your blood results back, I will admit. But like, I don't want to spend my time and tens of thousands of dollars that I've spent doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think all of this is for the best, honestly, like where we're all going, because it's forcing us to tap back into our intuition and into our bodies. Like, we've become so disconnected. So I think that all of this, and I don't mean to say, oh, like that's all for the best that she didn't misdiagnose. I don't mean that, but I mean, it's all for the best in like the grand universe scale, like that you are saying, no, I'm in tune with my body. I know.
Trusting yourself.
Trusting. And that's where this is all leading us, back to ourselves. I know that sounds like all cliche and like woo woo, but it is.
No, I don't think that sounds woo-woo at all. I I'm 31, Anna's 32. It's like, well, actually,
by the time 32 now.
By the time this podcast comes out, I'll be 32. So we're
don't age me.
Yeah, so we're both 32, and it's like when I think about growing up in the early 90s, the medication that everybody overprescribed was ADHD medication, right? And they were giving people Ritalin, they're giving people Adderall, they're giving people all different types of medication, right? Now I think about in 2024, and it's like we're overprescribing birth control, we're overprescribing depression medication, things like that. And that's not to say that they don't have their given purposes. They do, but we're overprescribing the fuck out of them. It's the amount of times that you hear somebody is given such and such medication and they're describing what they're dealing with, and you're like, that makes no sense. Like, what are we talking about? And I just feel like we're at a point now where we're just in this overprescribed problem, also with painkillers too, right? And so all these different things that we're trying to cure so many different problems with one, two or three different medications, and it's like that's just not possible, right? And so again, I think it's like all I can control as an individual is, again, what I'm consuming every day, the things that I'm putting in my body, the way that I'm taking care of myself and things like that. And, and trying to learn as much as I possibly can about my own body and how to solve the various different problems that I have. Now, obviously, there are certain times that you do need 1000% go to a doctor. It's like, again, if I have cancer, I'm not going to be taking, peppermint oil and rubbing that on my arm and thinking that's going to solve things. Right. Yeah. But like, it's like you have to, I have a cyst in the top of my head. That's not going to go away by me just,
Rub a crystal on it.
Getting Head and Shoulders shampoo here. Yeah. Like that's one where they're going to need to cut that thing out, and they're going to, and it is what it is. But like, again, knowing the time and place for certain things like that, and the time and place to learn more things about your body and determine what is right for you that may not be right for everybody else. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Nutritionally speaking, what are some of the biggest gut health mistakes that you see people make every day?
Beautiful. I love that was the segue, because I didn't want to just drop the no sugar for 30 days and like not explain what it means. Yeah. But I love how you were saying about the bio individuality, because how everything has changed for me is like, I've now learned my body in such a new way that I will not, that's why I didn't want to say diet in the beginning, because this is a lifestyle for me now. I feel like I finally cracked the code on how my body responds. And in those 30 days when I was home, it was rough. I was like, I wasn't staying home all the time. Like I was still working and out and about. I just mean like when I was cooking at home, there were things I was eating and it wouldn't react, and I would still get a rash from it. And it was really scary. I was learning like, okay, what is it like? What is my body like? What does it not like? And like figuring it out. And then after I cut it out for 30 days, let me try it again. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't develop any food fears from it, because for a while I did. Mm-hmm. I was afraid that if I were to eat something, I remember it was, I had raspberries, and I thought, oh, well, my naturopath approved blueberries for me. She goes, it's low sugar, you should be fine. I had raspberries and I broke out in hives, in a rash. And I freaked out, and I was like, why did I respond that way? But instead it's like, no, this is a good thing. It's like my body's just showing me that it doesn't like that right now. That's all. Yeah. Anyway, so to go back, basically I call the Candida diet the new keto diet. So it's primarily vegetable based. So like green veggies, no starchy veggies. And this is for the first 30 days. And it sounds restrictive, and the old me would have taken this as restrictive, but the new me knows that like this is actually the best thing for my body. And it was basically low carbohydrate for 30 days, or zero. So it was no rice, no potatoes, only blueberries as the fruit. It was all high protein and green veggies. No starchy veggies. And it was crazy.
Can you give an example real quick of which veggies we're talking?
Yes. Like zucchini, asparagus, any lettuces, cucumber, and it was high fat. So anyone that's listening will probably think, oh my God, you're probably so hungry. No. I've never felt more satiated. I was eating heavy on the animal protein, basically going carnivore. So like protein veggies, so like steak, chicken, salmon, fish, more fish, white fish, beef, and high fat. So like we were always demonizing fat in this society. Now it's being more accepted, healthy fats. For women especially, avocados, olive oil drenched on everything, raw butter, kefir, olives, nuts, literally just so high protein, high fat that you don't even realize that you're not eating carbohydrates.
You damn near just describe my diet.
I know.
Yeah. And I don't mean to demonize
intuitive eating, though.
Yes.
That's how we used to eat.
And I don't mean to, and I don't want to say carbs are the devil, because they're not. It's just that for my body, it wasn't working.
Okay.
And I started to, I've dabbled in it now here. I'm now like already 4 months away from being healed. So I'm okay now. And I've had a little bit of rice here, potatoes, but it's more like the lifestyle. So it's not that I'm not eating those things ever again. It's that I'm just watching it and I'm being mindful, because I notice that I have a sensitivity to sugar. Alcohol, the naturopath, and my physician, like my doctor, looked at me and they were like, no alcohol. I don't
Forever or for?
No, just for
okay.
during my thing.
Yeah.
And because alcohol turns into sugar.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and just said, you got to just watch your sugar. And I thought that sugar meant only chocolate.
Like donuts.
Yes. And that was the mystery, because I've always ate healthy. Like I wasn't eating donuts. I was eating like dates and fruit and like, just regular and like the dark chocolate. I wasn't ever eating the standard American diet ever. So this was all a mystery to me when they said, oh, no, you have to go keto. I was like, I have to go keto? I was so scared, you guys.
Like one of those now?
Yes. And I didn't want to be. And I was so anti the keto diet before, because I was like, that is so not intuitive. That's restrictive. How does anyone stay satiated? How is anyone happy on that diet? Let me tell you, I have never been happier than I am right now. The brain fog, completely gone. Like, I was crying. Here I go mentioning the crying again. And I just thought I don't cry that much. No, I had so many mood swings. I was like depressed and then happy. And then like ever since doing this whole cleanse of the Candida diet, getting it out of my system, doing the keto thing, taking my herbs, doing the whole healing journey of the Candida thing, the amount of ideas for my business, 10x. Like, I had to go to acupuncture to chill my nervous system out because I wasn't sleeping, because of how much clarity I had after eating this way.
It's incredible.
Isn't that insane?
I need that.
And again, I don't want to sit here saying like this is for everyone, but it's what you said, Mark. Like, it's obviously it's for me, and maybe other people need to eat. And I'm not saying I'm never eating carbs. I literally had cake the other day. I'm good. I'm just saying my lifestyle is now centered around that like keto, animal-based, green, veggie outlook.
Yeah.
I mean, the best when I eat like that.
Yeah. It's like I realized a long time ago that like growing up, I knew I was always sensitive to sauces, right?
Okay.
And then the older I got, I mean, the more I was just like, certain times I was like, screw it. I know this is going to upset my stomach. Like,
what kind of sauce?
A lot, like anything that's like,
acidic.
Yeah, super acidic. And then
Creamy?
if I go to like, sort of, but like if I go to like Chinese food would fuck up my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that was like salad dressings would fuck up my stomach. Just and so then probably, I don't know, year and a half ago, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try making my own salad dressing. And so I made my own salad dressing. And I can eat salad every day now. It doesn't slightly bother me. Before that, like if I ate salad dressing, it is what it is.
Whatever, we're already
I'd just be farting up a storm after.
my God,
like, and my whole family would be like, Mark can't have salad because
Gassy
he's gonna be gassy afterwards. And now it's like, again, if the salad dressing's homemade, I have no issue with it. Yeah. If it's not homemade, it bothers my stomach completely.
I fell in love with cooking again.
Yeah.
I used to be the person that was eating out at restaurants all the time. I really genuinely have no interest anymore. Like the passion of mine that I started with in my intro, which I like regretted even putting in my intro now, it died.
Wow.
I don't know how to explain it.
Well, different kinds of food then is your passion now.
Yes.
The good kind for you.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And so I just like I don't care anymore. I don't feel like this FOMO of, oh, I gotta go to Waken late and I have to try this breakfast burrito because everyone is saying it's the best breakfast burrito. And before I had this like, oh my God, like I have to go try it. Like everyone on social media is posting this breakfast burrito, which by the way, it's amazing. And I've had it. That was the first example that came into my head. I don't have that anymore. And it's not from like a restrictive place, because that was me 4 years ago, was a disordered eating where I was like, I have to eat this way to look a certain way. But now what other people don't understand, and this is, I think, if people ask me what was the hardest part of the last few months, it was not actually me. It was other people projecting their insecurities onto me, saying, I remember I was at a party the other day, and it was like a Persian barbecue, and they have like the crispy rice, the tahdig. And I took a little rice because I said I'm back to, eating in moderation, but I just put a little. And because I just got to watch it and make sure that I don't break out into a rash.
Yeah, fair.
And some girl goes, you're only going to eat that much rice. You're not going to put more. Why so little?
It's none of your business.
And I was like, no, I just I can't have that right now. Why? I go, I'm allergic, because I essentially am allergic. She goes, I didn't know you could be allergic to rice. And it's like, I don't want to say out loud at this party, I'm on the Candida diet. Or it's also like, why do I have to tell you that I'm going to break out in a rash? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. I think I would only recommend embarking on this journey if you have a healed relationship with food. Because if you don't, you go down a bad path. I'm doing this for my health. It's different. For anyone else that just wants to do this to lose weight, it's not going to last. It's not going to last.
So here's my question for you then. I feel like there's going to be a number of people who listen to this who are like, maybe I don't have Candida overgrowth, but maybe I've got something else going on in my body, right? If somebody's dealing with some sort of health issue right now and they really don't know what is happening, they don't know what's causing it, they've gone to multiple doctors, they're frustrated, what advice would you give those people in terms of trying to address and trying to find the root cause of the issue?
I would say one, doing the panel that Anna did, which is amazing, super important, super informative. But instead of they've gone to multiple doctors, they don't know what to do. I think looking at your diet, exercise, sleep is super important. Obviously, everyone overlooks sleep. It's so important. But the Candida diet is meant to be an anti-inflammatory diet. And if you have chronic health issues, a lot of it is due to inflammation. And so that's why I love promoting the Candida diet, because I feel like it's a really great gut reset point. And if you want to find that mystery issue of whatever it is, taking sugar out, processed sugar, number one, but then a little bit beyond that, maybe just lowering your sugar intake in general, it'll lower the inflammation in your body, and then you can kind of figure out what's going on. Because once I did that, everything went away. And no one told me that all of these things were connected to Candida. But the eye pressure, the sinus, the itching, the allergies were all Candida.
Okay, so you mentioned that your period disappearing was obviously, it's a massive marker for women.
Yes.
That was never an issue for me, but I do know that I have hormone dysfunction. Mm-hmm. What, in your opinion, are some of the most common side effects of a hormone imbalance?
Okay.
In women specifically, and then in men.
Yes. So for women, I would say it's really twofold. There's a lot of the mental aspect and physical, emotional. So I guess three, it's all together. Number one, I mentioned the bone density thing, feeling. You said you didn't have your period, or
no? Missing a period was never an issue.
Never mind. Okay, so that was for a missing period, is the bone density, brain fog, fatigue. And also cortisol is really trendy right now, but I don't like the way it's trendy right now, because they're saying, cortisol moon phase, and it's no one actually knows what that means, but I'll tell you what it means.
Wait, what is moon phase?
It's the puffiness that cortisol causes in the face. And so I technically have that.
No, okay.
No, it's true. It's the puffiness, when I'm stressed.
Oh,
I have. I was
going to say, but you're beautiful.
Cortisol.
So
thanks. But it is. Yes. It's I am rounded out from. Yes. It's why I have water retention all over my body.
Yeah.
But
so cortisol's our stress hormone, peaks when we wake up in the morning, and it's something that shouldn't be demonized, because if we didn't have cortisol, we would be stuck in bed. It's the thing that gets us up and not. And it makes us motivated and the urge to seize the day. But what happens is that with high stress environments and how our environment is today, with literally information overload, the phone, the honking of the cars and everyone yelling and the lights and all the things, it adds more stress to our bodies. Then we pair it with something like coffee, which I'm sure you've seen on social media. Pairing caffeine on an empty stomach is quite literally the worst thing that you can do.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry. Men and women, but I'm going to say specifically women, because contrary to if women are having kids or not, women should always be in a state of fertility, which means the state of being able to conceive a child. And when you deprive your body of food, you are essentially telling your body that it's not safe to produce a child.
Oh.
So you always want to be in a state of fertility, which is why fasting is more recommended for men, intermittent fasting, than it is for women. So men can do intermittent fasting just fine. It doesn't affect their hormones. For women, intermittent fasting is definitely not recommended. There have been studies shown that they've done the studies that they've done have only been on men, not women. Go figure.
Of course. I gain weight every time I intermittent fast.
Yeah. Because it's putting your body in a state of stress instead of I'm safe enough to produce a child. Again, even if you're not having a kid, you should always be in the state of being able to produce a child. And when you deprive your body of food, which goes back to like, you know, why... Again, if this helps any, you know, women listening about disordered eating and body image, it's like you should always want to be in a state of being safe and having food so that you can produce a child. So anyway, that's a whole tangent, but I just wanted to go there because it's important. So when you have caffeine on an empty stomach, cortisol increases, chronic inflammation, you know, brain fog, as I said, sex drive down. All those things are hormone imbalances. Specifically, though, what you said about the bloating, gut health is our gut is our second brain. Mm-hmm. And so the Candida diet, as I was saying, really cleans the gut and rebalances everything. And gut health, hormone health, everything is related. And so I would say that if you have digestive issues too, it's also a hormone-related issue. It's all interconnected.
And insulin, I was really stupid. I didn't know insulin was a hormone.
Yes.
Until today.
Yes, yeah. And it's our sugar response. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I know you said that you were pre-diabetic. Unfortunately,
I have signs of it. So that's what we're testing for because I am hypoglycemic.
Okay. And hypoglycemic, I used to be as well. Mm-hmm. And it's so important to I'm a huge snacker. And people who don't have blood sugar issues don't get it. Like when I'm hangry, I'm not just like
okay. We're not okay.
I'm not okay.
Said he might stab you.
Yeah, like I'm gonna fall over.
It's rage. You pass out. The sweaty, the cold panic.
The sweating.
Feeling. But fruit's what I grab every time. And that's what's interesting is that it would then lend to the sugar overgrowth.
Oh, yes. But that's normal. That's our body's response is to go to the quickest form of glucose.
Orange juice.
So
apples.
Orange juice, sugar, potato chips, candy bars. Like that is why blood sugar is so, everyone goes, why do I want to balance my blood sugar? Like, why is that? Like everyone's talking about balancing blood sugar. Why? It's for that, for choosing the right options, like to be in a state of equilibrium when I choose my food. Like it's like another Sydney is choosing food when I'm hungry, imbalanced blood sugar, excuse me. If I had a meal that did not sit well in terms of my blood sugar, let's just say it was like a funnel cake. And then 2 hours later, it spiked my blood sugar so much that I hit a crash. And then all of a sudden, like I feel so dysregulated that again, I'm going to go reach for something else that's going to keep my energy up. So it's just about being mindful of crafting our meal so that it's protein, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates, and fiber. And things have carbohydrates even that you don't realize do. So for the Candida diet, it's like vegetables have carbohydrates as well. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, so here's my So
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when you talk about lifestyle changes, because that's something I talked to one of my buddies was like, I want to lose some weight. I was like, okay,
Sure.
but don't go on a diet, go on a lifestyle change, right? Like,
Yes.
I was like, you do a cheat meal every day, so it's no longer a cheat meal, it's just your lifestyle, right? So we gotta adjust that. I'm not saying you can't have the cheeseburger, but maybe not the cheeseburger every single day, maybe not the Five Guys every day, right? And so I guess like when somebody's on, let's say they're doing the Candida lifestyle, we'll call it
lifestyle,
right?
I love it.
What is a way that they can kind of indulge when they do want to indulge, whether it's a sweet treat or something along those lines?
Love that. I mean, as I said, I just had cake the other day and I just had a bagel the other day. Like everything's fine. I think, and I hate it. I hate to be that person to say it again, like the balance, moderation thing. But like, I think it's just being mindful of not overdoing it. And that was what it was for me, is that it's not that I was eating things that necessarily, I was just overdoing the amount. And I think that's the problem with this country as well, which goes back to the French inspired. It's like the excess and it's the amount. It's not necessarily the thing. In France, you have the pastry and you move on. Mm-hmm. Here, it's one pastry, 2, 3, and all of a sudden you eat the whole box. What? And
that's fast.
And I think that it's and so I think it's going to be woo woo again. It's an emotional thing too. And I had to heal that when I couldn't have sugar. And on those 30 days at home doing my cooking, I got sugar cravings, hella sugar cravings. And I had to sit with it because I couldn't go grab my chocolate. I couldn't go grab my protein bar that I usually have. That's like my sweet fix. I couldn't go, get a scoop of ice cream from the freezer at night. I had to sit with it. And that was really hard for me. And I think that's why I'm actually happier now. Yes, biologically, like the Candida, which is a gut disruptor, gut brain, biologically makes sense why I'm happier because I detoxed that. But more biologically, also, let's talk about the emotional piece. The sugar craving came up. Instead of suppressing it and not feeling an emotion and like just hiding the emotion with sugar or another beverage or another cookie, croissant, whatever it is, I sat with it. And it was really hard because for the first time I was like, okay, what am I feeling right now? Why do I feel like I need an ice cream right now? And we become so used to in this country, I'm feeling sad, let's go get froyo. Mm-hmm. Instead of, no, let's deal with what's the issue. Let's deal with the issue. Let's talk about it.
Comfort for people.
Yeah. And emotional eating it's normal. I still do it. Again, like I'm not sitting here saying I figured out all the answers, but like for someone who wants to eat healthy and like, wants to indulge in those things, like figure out like where is that coming from? That need to like slap sugar over my emotion. I know that's deep.
No, but I think that's accurate. I think it's something where I tell people all the time, I'm like, I eat, I would say 99% of the time, very healthy. There's also the 1% of the time where, maybe I took an edible and I got a little bit of a craving and I might eat, a few Starbursts, but I'm eating 4 of them. I'm not eating the whole bag. I'm eating 4 of them.
Yes.
I might have a scoop or 2 of ice cream, but if I get a pint of ice cream, that's going to be in my freezer for a month and a half. Like, it's not going to be there for a week. It's not going to be there for a day.
And people go, how do you have the self-control? And I'm like, I don't like saying that. What does that mean? It's not, that's something that needs to be healed then.
I say that.
I
say that.
And sugar cravings are normal.
Yeah, I say that for sure.
Sorry, no judgment.
No,
also,
no,
I just spilled water all over my shirt.
Yeah, I'm judging you. You're judging me. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
And it's not self-control. I think it's like, what can you
It's a mental thing.
Yes, it's so mental.
I'm happy you said that because for me,
emotional.
It's very much like I don't like to sit with that like feeling of, okay, I'm trying to satiate something. What is that thing? And then giving that discipline to yourself and sticking to it. It tells yourself that you're worth that.
Yes. And by the way, I had dessert every night on the Candida diet.
What'd you eat?
I had my coconut cult probiotic yogurt. Do you know what that is?
I'm sorry, that sounds lame.
No, it's the best thing ever.
For dessert?
With cacao nibs. It was delicious.
Ooh, okay.
So it's this.
It's an acai bowl.
No. You got to try this. It's called the Coconut Cult. It's at Erewhon, Whole Foods, all the things, Sprouts. And it's this fermented coconut yogurt because coconut, healthy fats, keeping me full on the diet, as I said, are known to be super healing for candida, antifungal, all the things, everything coconut, like coconut topically and coconut ingesting. Coconut yogurt, it's fermented. It tastes tangy, like it's sour. They have a chocolate flavor, strawberry. They have original. And I would eat scoops of that, like make a little tiny little yogurt bowl with cacao nibs. And that was my sweet treat every night. So I still eat dessert every single night. But now when that like 3 o'clock sweet tooth hits, I'm like, what do I need right now? Do I really need that chocolate, or am I just stressed out and I need to take a breath and like take a breather? I don't know.
I like that.
Got to try that yogurt, and it will help your bloating.
I'll go to Erewhon tomorrow.
I'm not going to make any claims, but that yogurt will help a ton of your digestion.
You're like, I'm not going to make any claims, but it will solve everything
yes.
for you.
I know the founders personally.
Oh, okay.
It's probably out of stock at Erewhon now because they blew up on TikTok. Here we go again. Someone said, this is my skincare breakfast, coconut cult and sea moss gel. And all of a sudden now, you can't find the coconut cult anywhere.
Hate TikTok.
I know.
That's
ruining everything.
I think too, though, when people are, and I do want to get into French Squirrel before we have to wrap up.
Yeah.
We only have like 12 more minutes, so we're gonna,
no way.
and we're gonna have to do another episode.
No, that was awesome.
This is gonna be probably we're gonna have to do a series of 10.
Oh my god!
You're now the third co-host. Welcome to the podcast.
You live here now.
I think when people think about cravings too, I'm like, listen, if you are adjusting your diet into some way, a new lifestyle change and whatnot, if you were previously eating a pint of ice cream and you were getting the caramel frappuccino at Starbucks, the pumpkin spice latte, whatever, the moment you start cutting those things out of your life, when you do try to add them back in afterwards, they feel so wrong to you that like your body hates it. Like I used to drink caramel frappuccino. I'd be doing the peppermint mocha latte the moment like wintertime would hit in Michigan growing up. And then it's like at some point I started drinking black coffee. Now if you gave me even a slightly sweetened coffee, I'm like, yo, what is this? This is terrible. This my body hates this.
Well, you're now doing the 2 shots of espresso plain.
Well, I love the espresso plain. It's like that to me is like it's there's something about that like once you start making some of those lifestyle changes, you don't really crave the caramel frappuccino anymore. Because if I drink that, I'm gonna feel disgusting afterwards, and like my body's gonna hate that. And so I'm not opposed to here and there. Like if the other day, one of my buddies opened up a pack of Sour Patch Kids, right? And I was like, let me take like 2, and then I'm done. Because if I have half that bag, I'm gonna feel like shit, and it's like my body no longer wants that. I'm cool with the 1 or 2. So I feel like the self-control comes from adjusting your lifestyle change and whatnot, and now all of a sudden the things that you used to crave, you're not going to crave as hard as you used to.
And I want to backtrack the self-control thing. Like I get why you say that. Like it makes total sense. And don't get me wrong, you have to be disciplined, right? But like you can see, like both of you are watching me right now. Like I'm smiling as I'm talking about this new way of eating. Like it's something that has made me happy. Yeah. And I think that's the difference. Like if it doesn't make you happy, like, I'm not saying don't do it because your health matters too. But what I'm saying is find what makes you happy. And if it is that caramel frappuccino, but you're doing other things, that's great. I like, everyone has their vice. Everyone has their thing that they like. But as you said, I don't think it's a 0 to 100 approach. Like people that are listening that want to just be healthier, just remove one thing, add in one thing. Like, let me try this vegetable today. Like, it's not, oh my God, I have to go completely keto, no sugar, and I have to just be miserable. No, it's just one thing. It's just small things. And again, this country lives on extremes. It's either 0 or 100 versus in France, they have it and they move on with their other healthy things. And it's just one thing, one or two things you can do. It's not about doing everything. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. It's just, but yeah, I think you have to just genuinely find the joy in it.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We got 10 minutes left in this episode. We got to dive into French Squirrel. We're going to have to do a whole nother episode on it, but this is your brand. You started this when?
Should I toss it to
me?
you?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're going to have to work on that toss there, Sydney.
I'm sorry. They're medjool dates stuffed with organic peanut butter and coated in 100% cacao. Bomb. And I know you mentioned that peanut butter messes you up, but let me just tell you, we're using a mold-free, high-quality peanut butter, and you will find that it's not going to upset your stomach.
Okay, I was going to say, anything. There it is.
Yep, there it is.
So you try one of those and then toss me one, because I...
So again, not going to make any claims, that we also have a date peanut butter, and everyone sends me emails, Instagram DMs saying, why does your peanut butter not break me out? Like, why is you're the only peanut butter that I can have where that's a big jumbo medjool date, and it's 100% chocolate, so it's bitter. Just so you know.
All right, one bite. Everybody knows the rules. Let's see it.
Be careful, it might get on your shirt.
Oh
yeah, a little bit.
The ASMR, I'm like, oh, fuck it. So, I mean, shoot, it's good. That is so good.
Well, hand me the package.
Well, I want the rest.
No, enjoy.
Oh my God.
And it's the medjool date is already sweet naturally, so then there's the 100% cacao on top. To kind of balance that flavor.
Oh, everything's being balanced right now.
Okay, good. And do you know that dates are also really good for women, especially pregnant women, by the way?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Good for Mark.
Yeah.
I keep mentioning more women's health, but dates are also good for men, too.
That is so flipping good.
Oh, that's great.
That's my new dessert.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our hero product.
Wow.
Oh.
I know you need water sometimes.
So while we're crushing this,
I'll talk.
Anna and I are in heaven over here.
Good, enjoy.
Give us a background on when did you start Friend Squirrel? What was the inspiration behind it? Yes. I know you talked about your grandmother. But get into, I guess, like where did the idea for the product come from? Everything like that.
Sure. So I would be lying if I said that this was all planned. It was all an accident. I never meant to start a business, so it all just happened by accident. I was working for Erewhon in their corporate offices in downtown LA, and I would bring these protein bites that I would make myself on my hormone healing journey, my vegan gluten-free protein bites coated in 100% dark chocolate, and I would bring them in a Tupperware at the office, and I would eat it around 3 or 4 o'clock. As I mentioned, I have a sweet tooth. That was always what I wanted. And my boss said to me at the time, my former boss, why are you always eating the same protein bites behind your desk every single day? Like, what are those? And I was like, oh, it's just my recipe. No big deal. He goes, can I have one? I was like, sure, okay. I gave him the protein bites to try. He says, you need to start packaging these and you have to sell these. They're amazing. And I thought he was absolutely insane, but I listened to him and I started making them and selling them. I put it on my Instagram and we could not keep in stock. So much so that I had to move to manufacturers, and now 7 products later, I'm here.
Damn.
4 years ago.
You're just so good. I'm like not really wanting to swallow. I'm kind of doing something gross over here where I'm like really mulling it. And just, like, really smashing it into all the crevices.
There we go.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we probably got dates in our teeth right now, but these are amazing. This actually
good.
Reminds me, my mom would love these. I'm going to have her try these. There's just chocolate. And there's now chocolate on me. It is what it is. No, it's a great problem to have. But growing up, my mom would make these like protein energy balls that would have dates and they would have cacao nibs and they would have peanut butter and things like this. So this is basically what, like, if I open my mom's fridge, she's got basically these in there. And so I can't wait for her to try these. These are amazing. But
I can see why they're always sold out. Can I try one of this now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is a Lexington Bakes peanut butter chip cookie collab.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Which I'll give context to this. Right before we started the podcast episode, I mentioned that I went to a coffee shop yesterday and literally took a photo of these bars because I liked the packaging.
It was good.
And then you walk in with them. That is insane. So
meant to be.
Okay, let's give this a try.
Okay, you say this won't hurt my tummy?
I don't care.
No, it's also vegan and grain-free and gluten-free.
Oh my God.
If I fart at your birthday party, I swear to God.
It's not going to hurt your stomach.
Text you, Sydney, I'm going to yell at you.
It's definitely, this is more of like a dessert. It's sweeter, but there's no gluten, grains, or it's just real.
Really? It's really good.
Oh my God.
I know it's good.
No, Anna, you're gonna hate this. Put it down.
It's so good.
Put it down. I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
Oh no.
No, you don't like it. Your body hates that.
And so they're
the
little
chocolate
cute.
chips are so big.
I know.
Why are they so big?
They're chunks. They are big. But yeah, Lexington Bakes, he makes these really, really beautiful brownies and cookies. And he uses all real ingredients. And I told him, you know, my customer base is primarily gluten-free. Back to the gluten-free. So we developed a gluten-free cookie together. And it's also vegan too. So, you know, it's sold out in the first 2 weeks of dropping.
I'm so relieved we're finally making good gluten-free snacks and desserts.
Because it doesn't taste gluten-free.
No, to me,
this is great.
This is incredible.
But enjoy.
Is this part of Candida diet?
It's just moist as hell.
That is not. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna market.
Candida
no,
right
no.
now.
It's a no. And also, so everyone knows, like everybody has Candida in the body. It's natural. It's the overgrowth. Again, that's like the excess that causes health issues. But anyways.
Yeah, I probably have that.
No.
Oh,
but no, it's not. But you know what?
Stop eating that.
No way, Jose.
It's my birthday. You have to stop eating that.
Oh my god.
Tomorrow. Big what?
It's not part of the Candida diet. That has it has sugar in it. And you know what?
True.
It's a cookie.
Yeah.
It's supposed to have sugar in it.
That's facts.
That's what I say.
That's
Did you
delicious.
bring like 20 more?
No, probably.
Damn it.
Sorry.
Well, good thing you live close
But
by.
I-
So just let me know when you're free tomorrow to drop off a whole case of 1,000 of these. And
Okay.
It's his birthday present.
We'll take your wholesale order.
yeah, there we. Wow, crazy about that last word.
Who said anything about ordering? I said gift.
I thought we were best friends.
I'm joking. Half
these are,
joking.
These are amazing.
You're
and
very talented.
Both things are absolutely delicious. And I feel like this is like a paid promo. It's not. And I would tell you if I don't like these. These are amazing. I'm very excited. And it's actually crazy because I've seen these in Erewhon and I've always noticed your products and not even noticed that it was yours. And then even when I reached out to you, I was reaching out to you because you're a hormone specialist, and then you mentioned French Squirrel, and I was like, I don't even know what she's talking about. And then I clicked it, and I was like, oh, I've seen those all the time at Erewhon. I love the packaging. Like, I noticed that all the time.
Thank you.
So, you know, it is hats off to you. I know you have to go in a minute, but I feel like we got to do like 10 other episodes.
No, don't worry.
Oh,
I love where this episode went, and it was different than I don't get to talk much about the Candida thing because it was so recent. And it's either like people are talking to me just about business or just about health. So it's all together. So no, I appreciate it. This was so fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have to we'll run this back, but I appreciate you coming on and appreciate everybody tuning in. Yes, thank you for these. These are amazing.
Of course.
And I gotta wipe off now. I got some
Chocolate.
chocolate. I might have some in my
weird.
teeth right now. It is what
No,
it is.
you're good.
So appreciate you and excited to run this back.
Yeah, thank you
Absolutely.
guys.
Bye.
See you guys.